episode of The Lamp. It is the Kokomo Lanterns flagship podcast.
Flagship.
Yes.
So that means we've got flags?
Yes, it's easier to shoot us than sink us.
Yes, exactly, right. Yeah.
Our flag doesn't mean death. It means we're rolling over and exposing our soft underside and hoping that you will have mercy on us. But in the meantime, we're going to give you a little bit of news, a little bit of sports, a little bit of features, a little bit of community, a little bit of everything that you didn't even know you wanted.
That's right. What's your name now?
My name is Pat Munsey. I'm the publisher of the Kokomo Lantern, and with me is my partner in crime,
Ed Fonce, and I am the content curator, creator, and cullinator, I guess.
Podcast Network CEO, we'll call it.
Well, okay.
Well, since we can make up whatever titles we want, and Grand Poobah seemed a little pretentious.
As you're looking at us, I'm the guy probably on your left. I'm hoping. All right.
Well, as my ex-wife used to say, milk hand and cookie hand. So you are on my milk hand.
There you go.
Or left-hand side, if that makes any sense at all.
Exactly.
It made sense to her, and that's all that mattered, right? But hey, we're not here to talk about my ex-wife, believe me. We're here to talk about things that are going on in the community, and the first thing I want to do is open up the clarification / corrections, I'll add that in there too, section of the program where we're going to revisit topics from previous episodes and give us some clarity or some correction. And the topic today that we're going to correct is the Chik-fil-A situation. As we reported a couple of weeks ago, Chik-fil-A had no intention of opening up Imperial Drive into the parking lot there along 931. And yet there were letters distributed, and there were people concerned, and they showed up at meetings convinced that Imperial and Belvedere Drives and Cedar Crest were going to be opened up to that parking lot, and that traffic from Chick-fil-A and Hobby Lobby and all those things would just flow through Cedar Crest. So, since we'd heard varying stories, and I was at the meetings, and at that time Chick-fil-A said unequivocally that they had no interest in opening up either of those streets to their traffic.
I was there too. Yep, heard it.
We considered it a dead issue. Later in other media, the mayor had intimated something about opening those drives, yet we didn't see any evidence that was backing up what I considered apocryphal statements. So I sat down with the mayor last week, and I thought we'll just get a definitive answer. And so I asked him, are you opening up Imperial Drive? And his answer was, Chick-fil-A did not ask for that. It was not in their plan. They had no intention of opening it up to Cedar Crest. However, and this is very important, the city of Kokomo, under the direction of Mayor Tyler Moore, independently has decided to consider the issue, and the mayor told me last Wednesday it's his intent to open Imperial Drive up to that parking lot to allow flow of traffic. So, there is some truth now to that rumor. It's verified by the mayor himself. You can read that story on KokomoLantern.com.
KokomoLantern.com, the premier
news source in Howard County. Sure.
Go ahead.
We'll go with that again since we get to make up our titles.
That's right.
But Belvedere Drive was never under consideration, nor will it. It doesn't make any sense, according to the mayor, because of where it positions relative to the other buildings on that lot. So he is not considering that. However, I think it's pretty safe to say that unless something unusual happens, if the mayor wants to open up that drive, and he has the ability to do so, it's going to open up. So you should expect some traffic along Imperial. I don't know that it's going to impact Cedar Crest beyond that stretch of Imperial Drive too much, but for the people who live there on Imperial that are used to living on a dead-end street for the last 60 years, it's going to be a change.
Well, if I've got a Chick-fil-A next door to me, I can know that Sunday is going to be a good day because they're closed.
Well, that's true. That's true. You don't have to worry about Sunday traffic at all. And it does make it easier for you to go get the chicken sandwich yourself if you live in Cedar Crest, I suppose. So, there are always upsides to a situation, but I don't think that that's going to assuage the tempers of the people that were in attendance last month at the Plan Commission meeting before this matter was really even developed. But don't shoot Chick-fil-A. They are not asking for this. It's not part of their plan. They're not opposing it, obviously, because they don't have any standing to do so. But the mayor considered that this is an appropriate thing to do, especially considering the difficulty of getting in and out of that that lot to start with. I mean, it really is a situation
Right.
where you're going out to the north or you're going out to the west, and the rest of those options are not available. Now, the mayor did tell me that he is working with NDOT specifically on the ingress-egress situation on Markland and on 931, that they are probably going to reduce the number of cuts onto Markland. That will be one of the big changes. Which ones are going to be shut out, I don't know yet. The mayor didn't have any indication on that, but there are going to be some traffic changes. So the price of growth, the price of your chicken sandwich is going to be traffic in places you haven't seen it before and less traffic in places that you're used to seeing it. We just have to hope that it's all for the good. So there you go. There's your clarification correction for this week. Chik-fil-A is coming, so's Imperial Drive. There you go. So
We weren't wrong.
But we weren't right.
But we weren't right.
We went with the information we had at the time.
Exactly.
And until that meeting, I don't believe it was clear. And, we're going to have to take a break here.
Oh, wow. Somebody's phoning in already, and we aren't even set up for phones yet. This is great.
Hey there, Dana. I am in the middle of filming a podcast on camera right now talking to you.
Say hi, Dana.
All right, I'll call you as soon as I'm finished, sir.
Okay.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Let's talk about who that was. Who was it?
That was Dana Neer. He is the CEO of United Way of Howard County, and let me tell you, the campaign this year for United Way has gone better than anyone could have expected. Now, as a disclaimer, I am on the United Way Board of Directors, so I do have a little bit of skin in this game, and I like this game, and I think you should too. United Way is a vital part of our community. It is the clearinghouse by which other nonprofits receive funding, and they have a number of programs internally, like Buddy Bags and Imagination Library, I think it's
Yes,
called, with
yeah.
Dolly Parton, that go through United Way. All of these are worthwhile causes, and we had some dark times with United Way over the last couple of years post-pandemic. I'm here to tell you that under the leadership of the new CEO, Dana Neer, and his staff, Allie Tomlinson, who's a campaign coordinator, and really she wears a lot of hats, the organization is back on its feet. We have a $1 million goal in this year's campaign that's been going since late November. It's going to close up in early March, and the goal is within reach. We are within a couple $100,000 of hitting every need that United Way will have for the next year, which means more money for the charities that you want to support, that you want to see improve in this community. You want to see these services come out. So, yeah, I'm really happy that Dana called and interrupted the podcast here.
Oh,
because,
no, we planned that, didn't we?
well, I wish I had. Yeah,
I have it
seemed
written
really-
down here on my special notes here,
Okay,
see?
well, they keep me in the dark so I can be, I guess, legitimately surprised. But thank you, Dana, for calling. Thank you for your leadership and guidance. Thank you for the many board members that served previously and the new members that have joined. I think we've got a great team there, and obviously the community has just been fantastic in stepping up and filling a need
Yes.
that maybe we didn't know at times that we had. But please, if you haven't given to United Way, you still can. You can call United Way at 765-457-4357. And just say, look, I'm interested in hearing the campaign pitch. I'd like you to come out to my business and talk to my employees about a giving arrangement, because it can be a payroll deduction
Right.
if your business owner is willing to do that. Or you can just give a lump sum one time. Basically, anything that you're willing to give, United Way is willing to take. You can even make designated gifts. So if there's one nonprofit in the community that you would really like to see served through United Way, you can say, please give this money to the Carver Center, or the YMCA, or the Boy Scouts, or any of the other, the Rescue Mission. There are loads of charities and nonprofits that benefit from United Way. It's not the same structure that it used to be. It used to be, if you were a United Way agency, they took you under the umbrella and they provided the lion's share of funding, and that's just not the world we live in anymore. So it's really a grant-based organization now rather than a stewardship organization. But you can still designate your gifts. So I encourage you to support your United Way and the affiliated charities, because it just makes the entire community better. So I need to take a break now. You get to talk.
Okay, my turn to talk. So, let's talk about what has happened this last week at Kokomo while while Pat goes ahead and wets his whistle. So
I can't whistle very
we've had several different meetings going around town, and I don't know how many of you have been down to the courthouse lately, but and downtown, downtown really is starting to flourish, particularly around the courthouse, because we have many different memorials to veterans in particular down there.
Absolutely.
We have, and really, when you think about the veterans of Howard County, in fact, I was just talking today, if you look at the TK, Tom Kelly podcast this week, and look at it anytime you want because it's on YouTube and through our site, www.kokomolantern.com, www.kokomolantern.substack.com, and on our YouTube, Kokomo Lantern YouTube. Boy, it took me a minute there. Or on Facebook, our two Facebook
you
group.
can find us just about anywhere if you're
Exactly.
looking. We'll even email it to you if you like.
Yes, in fact, if you subscribe
For free or paid.
Exactly. You will get an email every time we publish
Absolutely.
anything. So
And the podcasts are one of those things.
That's right, exactly. So, but anyway, I had the privilege of listening to Tom Kelly interview Robin Williams, who's the vice president of the Howard County Memorial Corporation.
Yes.
And that's through Jerry Paul. And
Jerry Paul is the president.
Right.
And they are related, yeah.
Right, and they have been a real. They were involved, I think, in the wall out in Dare Chapel Park. Am I correct on that?
So the wall was put together by a group, the first corporation, and Doyle Causey was the gentleman who started
Yes, I remember
that,
Doyle. Yeah, worked with Doyle,
Ken
yeah.
Fisher and a few others. They were the founders of the idea. They're the ones that went and found the artist to create the sculpture. They were the ones that negotiated the location and got it installed. Jerry Paul came along afterward as that first group kind of aged out or moved on, and he has stewarded the corporation ever since. And he is I'm going to say was because he's in a bad way, but was a tireless work.
Oh, definitely. He is a mover and a shaker. And if you've ever seen him around, even in his condition, he was out on the backpack walk that we had at Stellantis this year. Forget the exact name of that, but it was for a backpack for veterans, I believe it was. But anyway, so he and Robin Williams, the vice president, they are really trying to put more memorials for people, for Hoosiers, number one. In fact, if you watch that podcast, you'll see that we've got a whole exhibit coming from them about the Tuskegee Airmen. Yes, the Tuskegee Airmen. And also, too, this week, I think we're coming out on the we're coming out before the 26th. If you if you go to the 26th to IU Kokomo, you'll be able to see Red Tails, which is the movie version, kind of sensationalized, as she said, but still, it is movie history about the Tuskegee Airmen and the Tuskegee Airmen experiment, as she calls it, because that's kind of what it was. They weren't really sure that African Americans could handle flight, which is, of course, ridiculous because they've been, people of all colors have been flying ever since Wright invented the plane. Okay, so and maybe before that.
But to come back to the issue in downtown.
Now that I went all that way,
we've established the Memorial Corporation.
You told me to talk, and I have, and now we're up to this point here where we are getting ready to try to, or at least that corporation, the Memorial Corporation, is trying to put another memorial downtown to commemorate a Hoosier and also a Kokomoan.
Yes.
Go ahead and.
So the Hoosier in question is Opha Mae Johnson. She was the first female U.S. Marine, and she hails from Kokomo, Indiana. She also happened to be, I believe, yeah.
She's buried out here in the cemetery, from what my understanding. Yes.
So Jerry took up the cause. Said, "Look, we've got a women's memorial and family memorial. We've got a war memorial." He really wants the courthouse square to kind of be the place that people go to see these memorials, and so he originally had proposed to the Howard County Commissioners that the northwest corner of the courthouse square would have a tribute to Opha Mae Johnson, the first Marine, and I've sat through, I believe, just about every pitch that Jerry's made to the Howard County Commissioners over the last 25 years for these type of things, and it has never been an easy process for him. No matter who's sitting in the chairs there, they make him spill blood to get these things done. Now, I can't speak to why that is, but I see other people walk through and get approvals on things all the time, but Jerry always has had to fight, and sometimes has had to fight rather bitterly to make these things happen, and yet they do, and when they happen, they're fantastic. I mean, that Women's Memorial on the northeast corner of the square is beautiful. So it's not that he is putting out a low-quality product or that he's asking for a frivolous amount of money or wanting to step on any toes. He just wants to honor these important military veterans and associated people in our community, and there's nothing wrong with that. But in reviewing his request, the Howard County Courthouse's Security Committee turned him down. And I'm going to say that they were justified in turning down the design. I don't know that they were justified in turning down the monument being on that corner. The design looks like 3 shooting blinds for a hunter. Yeah, there's 3 marble squares or rectangles set facing the courthouse, so that you would have a direct line of fire at the front door. So I get that the design may not be appropriate for the courthouse square, but it could be redesigned, I would think, fairly easily. So I'm willing to concede to Howard County, yeah, as opposed to the other ones that have statuary and seem to have some different items that don't pose an immediate risk to safety. 3 barriers to protect from counterfire as I line up on the courthouse. I can see that memorial conceivably being used that way in a worst case scenario, so I'll give the county that. However, it wasn't just that corner is now off limits, which I disagree with. I mean, it's not like these judges don't go shop at Kroger and don't seem to be at all concerned about their safety. They're not walking around in bulletproof vests while they go to church. And you know what, shootings happen there too. So the safety concern for the corner in general, I'm going to have to say that is a load of hooey. But that particular monument design, I will give you that. So the alternate that came from the commissioners was, we have a green space in front of the existing Howard County government building there on Main and Mulberry. Perhaps the memorial could go into that spot. And I'm not privy to all of the conversations that took place around that, but at the same time, the county intends to purchase the Firestone building adjacent to them, right there at the corner of Union and Mulberry, southwest corner, and demolish it and put in a parking lot, because we don't have enough parking lots downtown. So I'm going to have to say, Howard County Commissioners, what are you smoking? We don't need another parking lot. I understand that that's the easy and lazy out, but give me a break. Let's not do another parking lot. The county already has 2, and the use of multiple parking garages, and county employees park on the street too, even though they're not supposed to. I understand. When I work downtown all the time, I bent rules pretty regularly on parking too. It's just a way of life. When it's cold outside or it's raining outside, you don't want to park a block away. I get it. But I don't need another parking lot in downtown. That's ludicrous. Let's think a little bit bigger. Let's think a little bit more rationally about how we can properly use that space downtown, because that's a quarter of a block that you want to lay asphalt over.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a green space.
Well, there's supposed to be green space incorporated in it.
Okay.
But that doesn't make it any better. Again, you're wasting downtown space because you don't have the vision or drive to do something more. Let's take a step back. If you're going to do this, let's make it happen in a way that benefits the community better than just another parking spot. Jerry Paul apparently agreed, because he had designs that he came to the commissioners meeting on Monday, 4 different proposals on how that Firestone building space could be used for a memorial. Everything from he's dominating that quarter block with a memorial to a smaller space on the memorial. Now, maybe that's not the best use for that quarter block. Maybe in front of the county building as originally discussed is a better one. I'm not going to judge on that, but I think it's an appropriate space for that memorial. And Jerry walked in that meeting thinking he had some sort of a commitment to that extent, and found out rather unceremoniously that he doesn't have a commitment for anything from the Howard County Commissioners when it comes to putting this thing in. In fact, Jack Dodd, the Commissioners President, proposed that it be stuck on a postage stamp at the intersection of the two alleys in that block, next to the artist alley, that would be an appropriate place for a military monument.
Now, that's behind the government building there?
Well, it would be at the intersection of all those buildings. One of them's going to be gone now.
But the artist alley goes right into here. There's Starbank
so
here.
It's a half step above. I just shoved it in an alley. A half step above, because one of the buildings won't be there, so there would be some visibility, but my gosh. I don't do a lot of opinion pieces. All I can do is scratch my head and try to figure out how did we get to this spot where our military veterans are consigned to or relegated to a spot near the alley instead of any kind of prominence for a woman like Opha May Johnson, the 1st Marine. Now, I'm not a military veteran. My father was.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah.
I'm a pacifist, and I'm not ashamed to say that, but I still understand and appreciate the sacrifices that our military men and women make, and I am fully in favor of giving an appropriate spot for this monument, and I do not believe that the Howard County Commissioners share that vision. They haven't demonstrated that, and so I'm calling on them to step up and do the right thing. I know you don't have a final design on the project yet. You don't even have the building down. You have time to make this right. I understand that Jerry Paul can be difficult. And I understand that you're kind of hoping that he'll be dead before you have to figure this out because he's not in good health. And I think that's almost criminal that you would wait him out and then do whatever you please. The man's put in the time. He's put in the effort. He's devoted himself to this community. The least you can do is be an ally. Don't be an obstacle. That's all I got to say.
That's Pat's opinion. And if you have an opinion on this or anything else, get a hold of us at kokomolantern@gmail.com or make comments below, because we are on YouTube.
Absolutely.
The Kokomo Lantern YouTube page.
If you think I'm full of junk, then let me know I'm full of junk. If you think that the commissioners are completely right on this and we have too many monuments, that's great. If you're one of the commissioners and you got an issue with me calling you out in public, let's do this. Come on the show. We'll debate it. I'm not afraid of it.
I have 4 microphones, so we could line some people up here.
If you want to make an accounting, if you want to clarify this, the seat will be open to any of the 3 of you. You can tell me exactly what your intent is, what your desire is. Maybe I've got it all wrong. Kind of doubt it. I was at the meeting. But maybe I do. And maybe you can account for the way that you've treated Jerry and the veterans by extension for the last 25 years. I'd be willing to hear that. So let's do it. You don't like what I got to say? Come in here and make me wrong.
And that's Pat. I tell you what. Sounds interesting, doesn't it?
So it's a good time to close things up and let people know that this newspaper, this news outlet is yours as much as it is ours. So we want your involvement. We want your feedback. If you have comments that you want to share with us about what you're seeing, what you're reading on our sites, we're welcome to take that. If you want to be a contributor at some level as far as content goes, we're willing to talk to you about that as well. So give us a call, 765-210-3442, or send us an email at kokomolantern@gmail.com. We'll try to get back in touch with you, and we'll talk about how you fit in the relationship with the Lantern, whether that's as a contributor, as a worker, as a podcast performer or generator, or as an advertiser. We are willing to talk. So let us know.
All right. Well, you know what? This has been The Lamp, coming to you by the Kokomo Lantern, the premier online source for news, entertainment, and for sports.
Absolutely.
That's right. See you later, everybody.